there going through the journey. Just absolutely amazing. Let's see. Oh, here's the one I wanted to get to. Why is there such a negative comment with, quote, some of you guys that want more losses? Should we just continue 20 years, 21 years, 22 years, 23 years of the same mediocrity that does not put a competitive basketball team on the floor? And maybe that's the way it sounded and came off. But I think there is a difference in if this team, for example, when they beat the Miami Heat, I don't know. I don't always like dive into social media to see everyone's reaction. Chris, you're probably more tapped into that. The Kings haven't been good, so I don't know if when they won the one game, were there people on social media going, no, this is actually bad, or were they just celebrating for one night?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I think.
And also, on top of that, I do understand the let's tank mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Can we wait till the new year?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it does feel a little bit early. It also doesn't mean that I expect a huge turnaround from this team. But, yeah, it does feel a bit early. And, for example, organizationally, I don't think players try to lose games. But organizationally, you can make it more difficult to win games. And the best example I can give you is that I remember off the top of my head is last year, late in the year, the Kings were in D.C. playing the Wizards. The Wizards probably benefited more by losing games than by winning games. And in that particular game, the Wizards were playing a guy like Jordan Poole, who they, brought in, paid, whatever. He was the guy they had traded for. And he played the first half, and they felt, you know what? The Wizards, I think, were leading the Kings at the half, and they said, it's probably best if we sit him in the second half. Well, they did. Other guys played, and guess what happened by the end of the game? The Wizards still won that basketball game. So the players played. The players tried. The Kings tried to win. They obviously didn't do a very good job of beating a team that had a much worse record than them. But I think organizational stance was, hey, it would be better off for us to lose this game to increase our lottery odds and so on and so forth. I agree with Chris. I think it's a bit early on that. But I know what you're saying as a texter. I just am never going to be in a spot in an 82-game season where I know that, coaches' livelihood, players' livelihood, all those things are connected. And I'm not going to root for them, especially in December, to lose games. They're doing just fine on that. When I watch the games, I want them to win, and knowing that a lot of times they're not going to. But the other night when they're playing Indiana and they're down 19, I went through these emotions. I'll just be candid for you. I'm like, man, I don't think Indiana's this good. Why are the Kings losing by 19 to Indiana? Then boom, here comes this comeback. Kings take the lead. They're up 4 with 6 minutes to go. I'm thinking, good for them. I don't know why they were down by 19, but good comeback. Now I think they're going to win the game. And I wasn't upset about that. Then they lost the game. But I also, is kind of in that in-between where I don't have huge expectations for this team. I can see the value in losing games. I don't want them to, but that's, I guess, maybe the better way that I'm putting it. There's some of you, like I said, like the way the text was worded, what's the negativity in calling like some of you that want them to lose? Maybe it's just in a different philosophy from me, and maybe that was in my tone. That's not my direction there because, yeah, you can make plenty of good arguments that it would be better for this team to lose to increase their odds of winning the lottery. To me, in the end, if the Kings have the best odds or the 9th best, I'm going to be all in on them trying to win the lottery. So that, to me, I mean, if the lottery odds were weighted more, I would find probably a little bit more merit in it, but I don't love having the worst record in the league. I didn't love having this team having the longest playoff drought. I don't love those things as Sacramento being labeled as all of that, but that's where they are. That's their reality right now, and they're tied for the 3rd worst record. I'd be okay if they finish with that. I would be, as long as they stay committed to the things that they allegedly are trying to do. And we're going to find a little bit more about that today. By the way, at 2:15, Scott Perry will be joining Whitey Gleason and the Drive Guys. We'll get what the latest is on the Kings. And we'll see what's going on there with that at 2:15. Well, what would a show be like without talking to JR? Good morning, JR.
Feliz Navidad. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You just kind of went through. I'm already, bipolar enough.
Yes, you are.
I can't go through those emotions in the game. You just said it. Oh, God, they're getting killed. Oh, they brought it back. Maybe they can win. Oh, they're not going to win. Oh, am I happy or not happy that they won or lost? And then, by the way, I played the lottery Saturday night. I didn't win, so I'm not banking on the lottery a lot. And it is very difficult, just being honest as a Kings fan. So I'm hoping with your great tutorage and your guidance, and I remember if Chris was the show guy or not, when we did the Linear Championship.
Yeah.
And I just remember we were horrible that year.
Uh-huh.
But every time they would play that next linear champion, and it happened, I think, like 2 or 3 times,
Yep.
and including like right at the end of the season, you were like, okay, I'm rooting for this game, and no one else knew. And I don't know why that was like this glimmer of hope,
Is there a specific reason, JR, why you're bringing up the Linear Championship?
I think because I had a T-shirt made that said Linear Championship, and I want to bring it out of my closet.
You do?
That's why, Chris.
Oh, that's why? But have you been paying attention to it this year?
A little bit. So you got it right. You got to start with Oklahoma. No, I don't even know.
Yeah, you start with Oklahoma City because they were the champions,
Yeah.
which is crazy. How many games have they lost?
Just one.
So as the Blazers was the change, you will not believe this, JR. Do you know who the current linear champions are of the NBA season?
So Portland took it from Oklahoma City?
They did.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
going to guess Houston?
No, the Blazers then lost to the Heat.
Okay.
The
Heat then lost to the Cavs. The Cavs lost to the Raptors. This is a crazy one. The Raptors lost to the Hornets.
What?
Sunday, December 7th. Do you know who beat the Hornets?
Who?
The Denver Nuggets.
Does that mean tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night.
Oh, my goodness.
The Kings play the Nuggets
for the linear
for the
championship.
NBA Linear Championship.
It's almost like I knew that, Chris. It's almost like I called this show with a pre-planned. There you go, something to root for, Kings fans.
It's almost like
That's
you
why-
did.
That's why this is the greatest show on this station in these hours in the morning. That's why, right there.
Yep.
Chris,
Well done, JR.
well done. Hey, I'm going to end the call there before DC calls me up and says I say something bad. Please Navidad.
There
Bye-bye.
you go. That is JR. Is that true, Chris?
That's true.
Tomorrow
Because
night.
he called in, he's like, "Oh, I want to talk about the Linear Championship. Remember that?" So I'm like, "Oh, let me see where it's at right now." What are the odds?
When you said Miami had it for a minute, I'm like, no way, did the Kings
Yeah,
get
that's
it?
right. I like when I saw Miami, I'm like, "Oh no, did they already play for it? Did they already win it and lose it?"
So tomorrow night, if you can beat Denver for now a second time, you'll be linear champions. Okay. See? There's always something. Always something on the line. That's right, Family Schlegel. Linear championship is on the line. Something to root for. So yeah, that's what I meant by some of you guys want more losses. Yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. Another one from the text line before we dive back into the Kings that I wanted to address. And Chris, I'll take your help on this one. Can you guys describe what the Phillip Rivers situation would be like with NBA terms and players, please, and thank you?
Wasn't there a year that the Suns were making a run, and didn't they bring back Kevin Johnson after he had been retired for a few years? Am I making that up?
I don't recall that, but you could be right. So let's see. Phillip Rivers has been out for 5 years. Gosh, who would that be right now? And you got to be around early 40s. So you know that they could still physically probably do it, but may not be the best idea. Man, let's see.
Okay, so it's not as bad as I remembered it. 97, 98 was Kevin Johnson's quote final year with the Suns. He retired in the 98-99 season and then came back for the final 6 games of the 99-2000 season.
Okay.
And he was there for the playoffs.
Would it be Vince Carter coming back? Would that be a good comp? NBA comp to Phillip Rivers? So someone that's played, he played a long time, but hasn't played for a few years, several years.
Never won a championship.
Yeah. And which team is he going back to help?
And then for some reason, the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. So the Hawks are like, hey, look, we're better off bringing back Vince Carter. But the other part of it is, don't you believe that Phillip Rivers is going to play?
Yes.
So, you might bring back Vince Carter to be, another body. But, oh, no, by the way, Vince, we're going to start you, and you're going to play, 25 minutes a game. Someone like that, I guess, would be, I'm sure there's more thought I could put into this, but that would be the one I would say off the top of my head. All right, so let's dive into this a little bit more about the Sacramento Kings, because what is next? We're within a week now of this magical date that, Dave and I have been talking about for a while, of December 15th. But the question is, how quickly will the Kings be active? I think there's a pretty good belief around the Kings organization and probably other organizations that the Kings are interested in making moves. I think they should be. I think we can all agree this team isn't going to cut it the way it's constructed. And if you not even read between the lines, but if you hear the things that Scott Perry has said, that Doug Christie has said of what he wants this team's identity to be, they're not aligned. This roster is not what they want it to be. So I don't look at this as a coaching thing. I don't look at it as a front office thing at the moment. Now, part of it is the front office because this is the roster that's been constructed, but it's also like phase one. It's not I guess it's never the final roster because you're always adjusting, but I don't think this is anywhere close to what Scott Perry has envisioned when he's saying he wants a sustainable winner for years. I think he's got some elements of his 6 core tenets on some of the roster, but there's no full identity of that at all of this team. So when you look at what they have, the way they're constructed, and I think the people we all keep mentioning, whether it's veterans like Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, I don't know whether they're going to try to trade all of them, one of them, couple of them. And then, when a guy like Isaac Jones wasn't kept, but Dario Saric and Doug McDermott are, it just feels like those guys are those necessary, $3 to $5 million contract players that will be added in as part of trades that you might need, you might not need. So as we look at this team, and as Dave and I have pointed out, I believe to my core that they are trying to either make trades that get this team, one, younger, two, less expensive at the moment, or, more financial freedom, contracts that you could break up, or find themselves some future truly asset players that they're going to build upon and build with. And so if we kind of go along that template, and then think about what they might do and the rumors that are out there. I think what's difficult for Kings fans, myself included here, is we've all kind of looked at December 15th. Oh, my gosh, we have to wait for December 15th. Well, we're almost there now. But do we have to wait for January? Because that's when Jonathan Kuminga, who the Kings very openly had interest in, and I still believe they do, and the Warriors aren't playing him as much. There's some DNPs going on. There's some frustration with that team. And that's the kind of team that, to me, when you trade for Jimmy Butler last year, you're not okay with being 13-12 and in the 8th seed. You're just not. You've still got Steph Curry, maybe one more bite at this or two, who knows, with Draymond Green. And the way your roster is constructed, you kind of have to go for it. And if it costs you a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, who you aren't playing right now, but you could do it in a way that you think you can make your roster better, I think the Warriors are going to trade him. So that's a piece that would be interesting for other teams. Maybe you have to move a Buddy Hield or a Moody or Podziemski or someone else to get the player you're interested in. But if the Kings were interested in him before, I think Sacramento would utilize a guy like Jonathan Kuminga completely differently than the Warriors would. The way the Warriors are looking at a guy like Kuminga, they want him to be a defender, a screener, score when need be. But like that team is built around Draymond, Steph, and Jimmy Butler. I think the Kings would look at a guy like Kuminga and say, you're a part of our future and more of a core piece. Go ahead and score. Go ahead and we're going to let you be the guy that, use your athletic gifts, get the roster balance a little bit more front court balance there with a young, potentially, star of this league. And then now you're looking at a front court that could have Kuminga and Keegan Murray. That's pretty good, well, at least potential-wise. But what would it cost the Kings? Do they have to wait for that day to start their trading sequence? Or can they make separate trades knowing that, the Warriors may not be interested in this player, so we can move this one just to get the ball rolling. And that's where the trick of this all is for Scott Perry, and I value that he's got the years of experience, would probably get a good idea of what the timeline should be on what he should strike on first. But I think the overall point is this team isn't good enough the way it's constructed, and I don't see a real quick fix, and that's why when we talked about it yesterday, what Sam had said, that the reports are that Scott Perry has asked for, really those above him, and we're talking about Vivek and the decision makers, that it could take a little bit longer to do this rebuild. I took that as a couple things. One being that they clearly are identifying that they're not a player away, which I appreciate. I think they've taken the shortcuts, and I don't think this is a thing you can do. You've got to do this in a well-thought-out, crafted way. There might be missteps along the way, but you don't want to cut any corners. And really go through the process, and sometimes, we've said it before, and the Kings are a living example of this. Like a lot of the times, like the people that we suggested this earlier, that lose as many games as you can, get the highest pick. That's great. But a lot of times when you get to the lottery, you stay in the lottery for a while. You do. It's just, if you look at the trends, teams that have been in the lottery have been there. Kings are living proof of that. You still have to draft well. You still have to do all these things right. So it's imperative on the trades that they make, the draft picks that they get, the development of their players, that they get their decisions right more often than not. And so I don't know the exact timeline of this, but this has been a really weird season to watch this team struggle, knowing their imbalances and inequities that they have with the roster. Also knowing that they want to make moves and probably can make some, but we're just waiting. And it's not like waiting for the offseason to, hey, when's the trade season start or free agency start? It's like there's a deadline day in February, and there's a day here coming up on December 15th that kind of opens up the guys that signed in the offseason to be traded. That opens up a bigger pool of players. But in between time, that's nearly 2 months. And so far, watching this team play for nearly 2 months, it's been a tough watch. What are the next 2 months going to be like? And the Kings find themselves in a spot where if you're trying to trade some of these veterans, it's probably more conducive to play them. So you're seeing, hey, a 6-win Sacramento team is still starting this guy and playing this guy minutes. He's not hurt. He is contributing in their own way to that team. It's not reflective in wins, but maybe put him in our organization, put him with this group off the bench or in this starting five, and we're going to find a player that's going to really help us.
Got some bad news.
What's that?
Went back, missed a couple games.
Oh.
Knicks are the current.
You gave us fake news?
I know.
Where was the misstep?
It was the Hornets playing the Raptors. Let's see. So the Hornets beat the Raptors on November 29th, but then they beat them again on the 5th. So I missed that chunk right there.
Okay. And in between, the Knicks somehow got it.
The Hornets lost to the Nets.
The Nets
lost to the Jazz.
Whoa.
The Jazz lost to the Knicks.
And the Knicks have had it since.
Yes.
So not only last night were they playing for a right to go to Vegas, they were playing to keep
it.
Otherwise, Toronto could have had it.
Again.
So it's in the East. What's coming up for the Knicks, Chris?
On how they could get it to here.
Yeah, let's see.
Well, they got the Magic in the semifinals.
Okay.
See, what does hurt things is if they go to the finals, then they'll play. That's what we need. We need the Knicks to lose in the finals.
Okay. Doesn't, let me see here. No. It would be a while, but if the Lakers won it and beat the Knicks and the Lakers held it for a while, the Kings play the Lakers at the end of the month. But that's still 2, 4, 6, 7, about 8 games away for the linear championship. Sorry, JR. We led you wrong.
Man, you got our hopes up and everything.
Yeah. I was trusting in you, Chris. You would follow that stuff.
See, I could have lied too, and I could have just not said
left
anything,
it that way.
But
Yeah.
the linear championship is too important.
It is way too important. And honestly, we haven't focused on it enough lately. And I apologize for that. We'll be better. We'll be better on that. Then someone saying, didn't the Celtics take it from the Knicks? I don't know. Being asked by Folsom Mike.
Yep, the Knicks beat the Jazz, and then they beat the Magic, and then last night they beat the Raptors.
Okay. Folsom Mike asks, hey, have you guys watched Boozer at all? Cam Boozer. He's old school like his dad. Love it, but not sure if he translates to today's NBA like Drew Timme. Not sure if I would take him. How about you? I don't feel qualified enough yet or watching enough, but I will say I watched a decent amount of his game this last weekend against Michigan State. And I will say this, my first appearance or first take on it is I wasn't overly impressed. Now, maybe I saw a bad game, a bad stretch. I wasn't overly impressed. I've heard the hype, seen the hype. He's projected to be one of the top 4. I'm going to watch some more because that's not fair to do it in one game. But my first reaction, that's it. That's my honest reaction to it. All right, still to come, we will have 4 down territory and who's hot, who's not. We'll visit with Katie Christensen.